Willem Dafoe made quite the impression while hosting an episode of Saturday Night Live over the weekend. The 66-year-old Oscar nominee appeared in several sketches throughout the show, and performed as a dog show host and a particularly destructive temp, among other roles, before Katy Perry took to the stage to sing two of her hits. The Spider-Man actor started off the episode by making his way to the front of the show stage and meeting the program's fans. Dafoe appeared to be well received by the studio audience, and began his monologue by expressing that it was good to be back in New York. He then spoke about his beginnings as a performer, and after describing the cheap conditions of his first apartment, he recalled that "I had to act like I enjoyed having a bathtub in my kitchen." The actor also discussed his animated acting style, and showed a shot of himself from a movie before describing, "In this scene, people assume I'm about to toss somebody off a building. When in reality, I was just reading a really good book." He added, "Maybe that's why people come up to me and say, 'You know what role you'd be perfect for? The Joker.' Always nice to hear that you got the vibe of a sociopath." Dafoe then noted that he was originally from Appleton, Wisconsin, and a pair of characters played by Aidy Bryant and Mikey Day expressed that they were also from the city. When the Spider-Man actor asked if they had flown in to support him, they stated, "We got tickets from the lottery." They went on to express how good he was in Full Metal Jacket and The Passion of the Christ, although he informed them that he was not in either of the two. The characters then added, "Appleton is just so proud of you. I mean, you're out there making movies with big Hollywood stars like Timothée Chalamet and Shrek." After Dafoe did his best impression of a Wisconsin accent, Day asked him, "Has anyone told you you should play the Joker?" The show's second skit featured Alex Moffat and Chloe Fineman leading a tenants association meeting and instantly being shamed for not bringing refreshments. Several tenants make their concerns known during the meeting, which includes inquiries about killing a neighbor's dog and a misplaced baggie of baking soda. A doorman named Robert voices his concerns about constantly being referred to as Jamarcus by several of the building's white residents. Dafoe, playing Jed Fillmore, then asked the leads, "What the hell happened to this city? Where's the danger, man? Where's the art? Back in my day, it was all pimps and WS, junkies and perverts all over Times Square, man. You go to CBGB's and Iggy Pop would puke on your face and we liked it." After Fillmore expresses that he only wanted to be a pain in the a new tenant, played by Melissa Villaseñor, asks when the $6,000 rent on her 300-square-foot studio with no toilet and no windows is due. Kate McKinnon finishes off the sketch by asking if the limit on cats per unit could be raised from 3 to 75. Chris Redd then stars as a singer in the show's second sketch, where he bemoans using free versions of various apps. After using Spotify to lull himself to sleep after a long day, an advertisement for DoorDash promptly wakes him up. Kenan Thompson also portrays a singer relaxing in bed with his wife who rolls over and feels his neck, after which he feels a lump and gets out of bed to check WebMD. The singer attempts to take various pictures of the lump in question and is disheartened by their blurriness. The pair are later shaken out of bed by both a full-body spasm and a kick from a foot with a sharpened toenail. Redd then turns on his television to see Dafoe telling him that he is never going to fall back to sleep in an advertisement, and the actor and Heidi Gardner then list several reasons why the performers will not be able to fall asleep again. The comedian attempts to try sleeping one last time, only to wake up after thinking about his own mortality. In a separate sketch, Dafoe and Bryant portray a pair of announcers at a dog show hosted at the Cujo Arena. The actor then points out that their particular show celebrates those canine freaks who prevent owners from having company or intimacy. After a pair of judges arrive at the event, a dog named Luna is brought out, and after her various fears are listed, it is pointed out that she has a condition known as tangy vagina. Her owner then describes how the dog has adversely affected her life and ends her statement by noting that "My life is hell and I miss my friends." A beagle named Pigeon is later brought out and described as a sexual predator who has been banned from every dog park in the state of Maryland. His owner then reminisces, "When we first got him, he was so quiet. Turns out he was just traumatized. This is bad to say, but I miss that version of him." Bryant points out that she and Dafoe are married, to which he despondently responds that "now we do this." A dachshund who grounded a flight was brought out, and afterwards a chihuahua with a particularly embarrassing medical condition of the groin was shown to the judges. The pooch promptly becomes aroused after winning the competition at the end of the segment. In one of the show's other sketches, Kenan Thompson portrays a former professional baseball player who meets one of his longtime fans, played by Mikey Day. The athlete asks his fan about his various ailments, and asserts that his problems with low testosterone levels are completely natural. Another former athlete appears and reinforces that Day is having problems maintaining an erection, which he vehemently denies. Dafoe also appears, and after he is mistaken for being British, he reveals that he met the two athletes in a meeting for boner stuff. The actor then offers to give him a bottle of Nugenix pills, and after Day's wife asks what's happening, the performer takes on a British accent and proceeds to charm her in front of her husband. Various mechanical sounds are heard and Dafoe reveals that those are the sounds of me getting hard, after which his friends begin to become audibly aroused. The three then begin to scream in pain after the noises of their erections become louder, and the performer cites Day's wife's perfume as the reason for the increased activity. The sketch ends with a promotional image for Nugenix, and the announcer exclaims, "Oh, now you're interested." Katy Perry was later introduced by Dafoe and began to perform her newest single "When I'm Gone," on which she collaborated with producer Alesso. The singer made quite the impression while wearing a body-hugging red latex mushroom-inspired outfit, and she was backed up by dancers who carried fans that read "Eat Me" on their backsides. She was also accompanied by the much-applauded DJ, who remained at the back of the stage for the duration of their performance. The hitmaker finished out her song by joining her dancers for an extended dance sequence that occurred just prior to the track's final line. Perry later returned to the stage for a performance of her song "Never Really Over," on which she was accompanied by a guitarist and pianist. The singer switched into a baby blue dress and a wide ruffled bottom for her second song of the night. In contrast to her first song, the singer remained in one place for the duration of her track. The performer finished her performance by flashing a pair of peace signs to her audience and smiling widely. Another sketch saw Feynman and Pete Davidson portraying Beauty and the Beast, and the former expressed that she wanted to see how her father was doing after moving into her partner's castle. The Beast then gives her a magic mirror to see anything she wants to, and she chooses to look at her parent, played by Dafoe, who wanders into their home in search of her. Davidson's character remarks that her father really wants to make sure he's alone, after which the prince's father begins lighting candles and removes all photos of his daughter, only leaving a picture of a horse standing. The Beast remarks, "Well, this guy's not thinking about you at all, and if he is, we've got bigger problems." Dafoe then puts on a record and begins to whip himself, while Davidson and his friends express that they are very interested in watching the sick stuff. The actor later finds a photo of his deceased wife, and laments the fact that she is not alive to carry on with their BDSM-influenced sex life. Feynman then breaks the mirror and asks her friends to not speak about her father's actions, although Davidson assures them that he has like 30 more in my room. Another digital sketch from comedy trio Please Don't Destroy was then shown, and Martin Hurley began by introducing his obviously underage friend, Connor, to his comedic partners. When John Higgins and Ben Marshall become annoyed by the child's presence, he surprises them by asking if he can submit a joke to Colin Yost. "What do you call a white bee with dreadlocks?" Martin then expresses that he began hanging out with the 10-year-old in an attempt to separate himself from his toxic work friends, much to the chagrin of his partners. Connor reveals that he met Martin while playing on a soccer team and facetiously states that they will all be going to a club later in the evening. Although Ben begins to appreciate Connor's sense of humor, John remains reserved about spending time with the kid and asks him, "So, how's it feel to be a effing baby?" The friends then receive a food delivery, and after John asks why the 10-year-old ordered a porterhouse steak, he snaps back with, "I wouldn't be giving anybody else diet advice, Tubby." John then steals the steak and promptly chokes after taking a big bite, to which Connor springs into action and performs the Heimlich maneuver, which dislodges the piece of meat from the comic's throat. John apologizes for his behavior and suggests that the four go to a nightclub, after which Yost enters the room and tells Connor that he loved the joke before the five head out for the night. Bowen Yang and Egon Woדם then portrayed a pair of newscasters working out of Columbus, Ohio, who introduced an author, played by Dafoe, who wrote a book about finding happiness through blowing yourself. Yang then corrected himself and expressed that the book in question was about knowing yourself after becoming tongue-tied. Dafoe later explained that his book was centered on helping readers become the best versions of themselves through self-discovery. It's about learning how to love yourself by going down deep and embracing the part of you that you discover down there. A reporter played by Day then comments that the book's meaning is a lot to swallow. Dafoe's wife joined him and he commented that, with female readers, it was a little harder for me to get there, though. I think women have to reach deeper in themselves to find happiness. She added, "If you're like me, your sensitive side is going to take a licking, but in the end, trust me, it's so worth it." By his book, I had my nose buried in it for hours. Dafoe then encouraged Day to join him in a set of breathing exercises, and the two ended up in a position that implied that they were filleting themselves. The reporter then noted that he would need practice to perfect his technique, to which the actor stated, "Well, don't go nuts when you're just starting out. That would be going too far." Day went on to read a tweet from a self-proclaimed incel who wrote that, after learning the technique, he would never leave his house. Yang finished the sketch by expressing that a 400-pound wild W had blocked a freeway before apologizing for yet another misreading. Dafoe later appeared as a temp in a sketch centered on a group of office workers, one of whom commended him on entering the workforce later in life. The workers then began working out a beat with various supplies, much to each other's amusement. The group eventually broke out into a rendition of The Lion Sleeps Tonight, after which Dafoe added his own personal touch to the medley by throwing a chair out of a window. He then added that he would have thrown several more had the song gone on. Thompson entered the room and angrily remarked that the chair had fallen 15 stories and smashed into his brand new Mercedes S-Class and caused $1 million worth of damage. His co-workers then vouched for him and get Thompson to give Dafoe a second chance, after which he returned the next day. After the workers started a new rendition of the song, the actor violently threw a stapler backwards and knocked Gardner out of the still unrepaired window. Dafoe then recommended throwing down another chair to help up his co-worker, after which he was described as the worst temp ever. The actor then closed out the episode by thanking Perry and his fellow performers before signing off for the night.